Hey everybody, Billboard chart guy here, and welcome to another episode of BBCG and Friends. And I thought if he's good enough for the 1,000th show of KMS, he's good enough for this little podcast. Bish, welcome to the show. How are you?
Great. Feeling good. Happy to be here. Love your show.
Good. Oh, thank you very much, and thank you for doing this. I think as we kind of dive into this, we've had a couple of back and forths via DMs, and I think you're going to take me down a
Yeah.
road musically that I'm not as familiar with. So I'm going to be the student today, and hopefully I can get some knowledge from you. But let's start kind of at the beginning. Where your musical influences started, what were your parents listening to, siblings? Tell me about young Bish and what he was listening to.
Yeah. I grew up as an only child.
Okay.
My parents were definitely into music. My dad actually, when I was young, his job was actually he was like a stereo repair guy. So we always had like great stereo equipment in the house.
Right.
My dad was big into he had mixed taste. Like he liked like Van Halen and some of the classic stuff, but he was into like some different stuff like Split Ends and just
Hmm.
some newer wave music also.
Right.
But I had an aunt that lived in Boston that she would come down and visit me. And every time she would come down, she would bring albums. And she would bring albums like AC/DC for those about to rock. She'd bring me Kiss Alive 2. So she really kind of got me into the heavy metal music.
Hmm.
And from there, I've just all my friends we just all kind of liked that music, and that's what we gravitated to. So
Right. Right.
yeah.
So Bish, how old are you? I'm just trying to gauge where you are,
Yeah,
in
I'm
the years.
53.
53. Okay, so you're a little
Yeah.
younger than me. So when your aunt was introducing you to those heavy metal albums, um, was it kind of like a revelation to you? Like, were you like, "Oh my God, this is
Well,
incredible"? What was the take?
um it just it was like love at first listen, kind of
Right.
like it's just the way guitars sound like in heavy metal music. It's just a little different than like pop music and stuff. It's just
Yeah.
it had that certain crunch to it that was just like it just turned me on. Like I just couldn't get enough of it. And so from there it was just trying to find which bands I did like, obviously which ones I didn't like. There's a really a fine line in heavy metal, like between what's cool and what's not. Is like when I was younger, I would think, okay, like bands like Warrant, not cool, definitely not cool, but Cinderella, cool. Like, and you just, I can't tell you why, but just if you know, you know. And yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of rambling, but
No, no. I mean, that makes total sense because for a guy like me, kind of looking at the genre, I would put Warrant and Cinderella, into that hair band era, and I would lump them in with Poison and Firehouse and
Kiss,
Nate, Kit,
yeah,
right,
those guys.
Rat, and
Dude, like Rat.
yeah.
So,
Um, yeah. So what's the what made one band cool and one band not in your mind in that genre?
well, for one thing, I don't know. I liked my heavy metal bands like on the younger side. So if they had a front man that was like in his mid 30s, to me that seemed like he was old or something. You know what I mean? It just didn't seem as right. Like I like my rock stars to be like 22 years old, skinny, long hair, and cool, not corny. There was a lot of corny heavy metal, like the hair bands, like, and then you had bands like Poison that just took it way too far with like the makeup and really just trying to sell albums. I felt like a lot of these bands, like Cinderella, they were really bluesy. Tom Kiefer was like a bluesy, soulful singer. Um, he just wasn't like a bubblegum band, which a lot of these metal bands I consider just like bubblegum bands.
Right, right. So when you say, Poison with the makeup, my first thought came is, well, didn't Kiss had all that makeup? What's the difference?
Yeah. I'm actually not a huge Kiss fan, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I was introduced to them early. My aunt used to bring me their albums. She used to bring me, their live albums, which I thought were great. But as like the 80s continued on, Kiss took their makeup off.
Yep.
It just seemed like Gene Simmons is just chasing the dollar constantly. And that to me showed through in just
Yeah,
everything he
absolutely.
did. I just kind of think he's not a, I don't know. I just didn't really like him personally. But
Yeah. I remember them being on Howard Stern and talking about all the merchandise, and I think there was a Kiss coffin you could buy or something. Yeah, crazy.
yeah,
What year did they take the makeup off? Was that in the early 80s or when?
yeah, I
Do
think it
you
was like
remember?
86. I
Okay.
think they did it in 86. They had an album called Animalize, I think it was. And I think they did it for 2 years and then put the makeup back on. Um, I mean, they do have a great gimmick with their makeup. I mean, they can just keep playing forever. They don't look as old as, a lot of these guys. That's one thing about my heavy metal bands. A lot of them didn't age very well.
Right.
Like Motley Crue with Vince Neil. Like I was a huge Motley Crue fan.
Hmm.
I would admit I would be a little disappointed, like when Theater of Pain came out, because it was a little poppy compared to Shout at the Devil and Livewire, but still, they they epitomized like the heavy metal like attitude, I guess you would say. But
Right.
my favorite bands are actually like Iron Maiden, Queensryche was excellent band, and these guys were excellent musicians. They still are. I mean, Iron Maiden, they are still selling out stadiums. I mean, their lead singer, Bruce Dickinson, is like an actual like super smart guy. He like flies their
Planes, right? Yeah.
757, like
Yeah.
he's an
Yeah. Yeah.
actual commercial airline pilot. Just great musicians.
Right. Um, so what was, go back to when your aunt was giving you those albums, what was the first record you went to the store or CD to purchase, with your own, I think, I got to have this album. What was that album for you?
Um, yeah, I was thinking about that. I think it was a Quiet Riot Metal Health album,
Okay.
which would have been in like 80. I think the album probably came out in like 83. I think I probably bought it in 84 ish. But that was actually my first concert. Was Loverboy and Quiet Riot. One of my older cousins took me to that concert.
Wow. Where was that concert?
That was at the Cumberland County Civic Center. It's now called the Cross Insurance Center.
Mhm.
And I got to tell you, we were blessed to live like 15 minutes from that place because every major band in the world basically came there. It's like a perfect spot. It's like 10,000 seats, maybe a little less. But man, I saw every band that I liked basically
Came through there.
went
Wow.
played there many times.
Hmm.
So yeah, I've probably been to 50, 60 concerts.
So that Quiet Riot album, that was Come On Feel the Noise, right?
Yeah.
That was the big hit.
Mental Health.
No, the Metal Health, the album, but
Yeah.
Come On Feel the Noise was the single, wasn't it? That was got a
Yes.
lot of radio. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That was
I
yeah, I don't know if it's their breakout, but yeah, one of their breakout songs for sure.
well, it was their breakout song for this guy because I hadn't heard of them until I saw them on MTV for sure. So Loverboy and Quiet Riot. What was your what was your last concert you went to see?
Um,
Most
the
recent.
last concert was Luke Combs, a country
Okay.
singer.
Yeah.
So as I've gotten older, my music tastes have really expanded. I went to college in Louisiana, and my suite mates down there were huge into country music. So I kind of got into country a little bit, like in the early '90s when I was in Louisiana. Um, but now I can listen to pretty much anything besides, I'm not like Taylor Swift fan, but
Right.
I like lots of different types of music.
Interesting. And Luke Combs is the guy who did the cover of the Tracy Chapman song, right? Fast Car.
He did, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was an interesting concert. It was in Bangor, and it was a crazy scene. Like, we were waiting for him to come out. He was about 20 minutes late coming out, and when he came out, he was like, I got to tell you guys, this has never happened to me before, but man, my voice is just not right. But I'm going to give you guys the best show I can give you, but you're all going to get your money back. And that concert was amazing. Like, every person sang every word to every song the entire night. It was fantastic.
Oh
And he
wow.
sounded great to me. Yeah. And 6 months later or 3 months later, we got a check for our money back. It was
That's
crazy.
I've never heard of that. That's crazy.
Yeah. I've heard since he did that, one other guy has done that recently this summer. That's the only two times I've ever heard of anybody doing that. And
Wow.
I think he
That's pretty,
started it.
yeah. That's pretty. And how long ago was that?
That was not last summer, the summer before, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a summer 23.
Okay. Um, and all through the years you've seen so many shows. What do you consider your best show ever, and why?
Well, probably like the biggest show, with maybe not my favorite, but the biggest show, I got to see Metallica and Guns N' Roses at Foxborough Stadium. That was a huge show. Um, Probably my favorite shows was maybe the Iron Maiden Seventh Son of a Seventh Son tour. That was a great show. That was at the Civic Center. I'm pretty sure Megadeth opened for them that night, and yeah, just amazing. Iron Maiden in their prime was sick.
And what year would that have been?
I'd say that was 88.
88.
Yeah, probably
Um,
88.
and and when was the Metallica Guns show?
That was actually, it was on 9/11, 1992.
Oh wow. Okay, 19.
Yeah,
Th-
it was
uh,
postponed. It was supposed to be earlier in the summer. James
mm,
Hetfield had injured himself with an onstage explosion, so they canceled the tour for a little bit. That was an interesting show. So James Hetfield blows his hand up like 3 or 4 songs in. Guns N' Roses could have came out and been the heroes and done like a 2.5 hour set. Axl Rose came out, sang like 4 songs. His microphone was messed up, and he's like, "This place sucks. I'm out of here." And a riot happened. So instead of saving the day, Axl just had to make it about him and whatever. So fast forward a few months later, they come to Foxborough. James Hetfield's not playing guitar. He's just singing. He's got his hand all wrapped up. So he's just singing. They had a fill-in guitarist for the whole show. They finished the show. There's like an encore. Everybody's like, yeah, go, go, go. They come out for the encore. James Hetfield's playing the guitar. Starts playing Seek and Destroy.
yeah.
Oh my God, I'm getting chills right now just thinking about it. It was magic. It was unbelievable. So yeah, that was a great show.
That tour was notorious. Correct me if I'm wrong about like delays in Guns coming out. Right, Guns N' Roses wasn't it? And was that episode that you just described? Was that in Montreal?
I think it was in Montreal. I'm
Yeah.
not positive, but that sounds right. But yeah, Axel is just notorious for showing up late, having temper tantrums, um, just not, playing well with others, basically.
And have you seen them since they Axel, and Slash, reunited? Have you seen the more recent Guns N' Roses lineup?
No, that's actually the only time I've ever seen Guns N' Roses.
Okay.
And they're not like one of my top 10 bands. I do like them. When that Appetite for Destruction first came out, like, I think everybody was watching that video, like, what is this? And they got me. I was intrigued.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I definitely shy away from harder music, but that album got me as well. Yeah, that's a great album. And then I got the GNR Lies, the EP, which came out after that, and of course the double albums, Use Your Illusion 1 and 2. Yeah, but that Appetite for Destruction may be, a top 3 or 4 debut album, right? I mean, it
It's
has
gotta
to
be.
be. It's got to
Yeah.
be. Yeah,
It's
really.
an all time.
Yeah. Um, I've been spending a lot of time listening to covers recently, covers of songs. So I thought I'd ask you, and I know this is coming out of the blue, so you may not have one right off the top of your head, but do you have a favorite heavy metal cover?
Um, I got there's this that Christopher Cross song "Ride Like the Wind."
Yeah.
There's a heavy metal band called Saxon that does a version of that I think is really cool.
Is
I
it
really like
Saxson?
it. Saxon.
On. Okay, Saxon. And I got to go listen to it when we're done because I
Yeah,
love that song. Okay.
it's pretty heavy cover. It's pretty cool. I like it. I will tell you,
Good. Go ahead.
growing up, I mean, I was definitely into the heavy metal, but there was other musics that I liked also, but I just wasn't a huge fan of. Like some things I would like, I didn't really admit. Like I kind of thought Michael Jackson was pretty cool back then. Just his music.
Yep.
But with my friend group, you didn't really play Michael Jackson songs too much. So
You kept that on the down low, right? Yeah.
yeah, I
You
kept
didn't
it on
talk
too
to.
low. Did
Right.
my mood
Yeah.
walking in private.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'd pay to see a Bish moonwalk.
Mm.
So maybe we can get that into the next live show, KMS
Oh,
Live
there we go.
or something.
Yeah.
So give me your Mount Rushmore of heavy metal bands.
Well, Iron Maiden,
Right?
probably number one. I was a big Dio guy, Ronnie James Dio.
Yep.
I'd probably put him at number 2 for me. And maybe Metallica. And I really still love early Motley Crue. That's in those first couple albums of Motley Crue. And then throughout the rest of their career, they had, certain songs and stuff I liked, but those first 2 albums were just so raw and just it was like you were at a live show that was just no talking, just playing.
Right.
Really, really dig that. And actually, that's I brought my son. His first concert was a Motley Crue concert, probably 10 years ago at the Civic Center when he was a teenager.
And does he like heavy metal as you do?
He does. He's not like a metalhead, but he likes country music and stuff. But I remember probably 5 years after I took him to that concert, that movie The Dirt came out.
Oh yeah.
And he must have watched that movie a million times, and he was so happy that like he saw them live. He was like that was like a pretty big brag for him and his around his buddies. My dad took me to see these guys, so.
Right.
Yeah, it was his first concert. Made
That's
sure it was a good one.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
One of the things that I rant and rave about, and I've done it on Twitter, not specifically about heavy metal, but I have major opinions about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and some of the choices they've made in terms of inductees and people who get nominated. And I listen to a couple of other podcasts that really focus on the selection process. And Iron Maiden is a band who keeps coming up that they're obviously not in there, but and I'm listening to you and the passion that you're speaking with them, they probably should be in there. I mean, they just got Judas Priest in there a few years ago. So I think Iron Maiden is a big miss for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And the way the hall's going, I would not be surprised at some point if Motley Crue got in as well.
Yeah, I think they have a personal vendetta against Motley Crue. I think they talked a lot of shit about the Hall of Fame at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But Iron Maiden, I mean, to this day, they are like the Beatles in Brazil. Like,
Okay.
it's insane. They can't walk down the streets in Brazil to this day. Like, you watch, like, they're on tour right now, the Run for Your Life tour, and it's not coming
Okay.
to the States, unfortunately. I don't think. Maybe to
Right.
like Vegas or something. But I see their Twitter posts about those shows, and their soccer stadiums that are completely just sold out, and it's amazing the crowds they're bringing still, because they still sound great. They're
Yeah.
excellent musicians. That's the thing about a lot of these heavy metal bands. Some of these guitar players, like Vivian Campbell for Dio, George Lynch with Dokken, I mean, these guys, I think, are probably some of the best guitar players in the entire world. And maybe they don't get the credit, but I think they do. People that do play instruments, listen to this stuff and they're like, holy shit. They're just, it's incredible. Incredible musicians.
Yeah. Yeah. And the intensity that those songs are performed at are, wild.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Um, well, listen, I'm going to thank you very much for doing this. I appreciate it. I love the DMs we've had and the communication. It's great getting to know you a little bit here. I'm gonna check out "Ride Like the Wind" by Saxon as soon as
Check it out.
I'll get done. Um, and I hope to hear you on KMS in the future. I enjoy when you're on there. You must have a lot of fun doing that, or is that nerve wracking, or is it both?
It's a little nerve wracking, but not too bad. The first time I went in, I was nervous. The second time I went in, yes, I was still nervous. But by the end of it, I wasn't nervous anymore. It was fun, So
Yeah, that's great.
had a good time. Yep.
Good, good. Well, thank you for doing my little show. Much appreciated. And I want
Thanks
to
for
thank.
having me.
Oh, of course. Yeah, it's a pleasure to meet you. I want to thank the Minifan Network and Minners and obviously Kirk for all the support. And we'll be talking to you guys soon. Have a great day.
Thanks.